Wanted to embrace what it takes for it, pouring something to the world. Willing to erase what I'd lose for it, to accept what I assume. So I'm pulling the anchor and drifting away, blinded by reason beyond disarray. It's what fire cannot burn. It's what fire cannot searching for some.
Oh, yeah, searching. Searching for something. We're searching for a brand new Tuesday night. St. Ricketts. Oh, yeah, it is, in fact, What Fire Cannot Burn. The band is St. Ricketts at www.stricketts.com. It is the theme song to another brand new 100% live Tuesday night episode of The Yo Show. Yo. Jeff the Shark Perini here with you live tonight. Solo like Han, Jewel Tatey, but a last minute work assignment. She will not be with us. So I'm taking it on solo, and for good reason. Because I'm just that damn happy. JD Wolf, no way we're doing that tonight. We have just too many great stuff going on here. Local, of course, a huge Philadelphia Phillies win today. That's right, 7-6 over the Atlanta Braves. Got hairy in that ninth inning. Phillies beat the Cardinals over the weekend to advance in the playoffs, and today grabbed the first one from their arch rival, the Atlanta Braves. Thank you very much. Tough fought victory. Hung on in the end. Phillies lead 1-0, and that series after a big 7-6 win today. I got to tell you, Zach Eflin, scary in that ninth inning. He's not really a closer. They let him close, but I don't know. Not really a closer, but we'll take it. We'll take the victory for our friends here in Clearwater, Phillies. The Bell and the whole 9 yards. Eagles, of course, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first of all, welcome to the Yo Show. I am your host, Jeff the Shark Perini. They are sneaky good. They got a great lineup, and when it's hot, it's hot. Now is just the right time to get hot. I like it. Jeff the Shark Perini with you again for another great Tuesday night. Usually my co-hostess with the mostest is Jewel Tatey. Jewel is out today. She did mention a work assignment. They do sneak them on her sometimes. I mentioned it to Allie. We'll have Allie tomorrow night on Yo 2.0. We got a great guest coming there. We'll talk about all of that later on in the program. But let's talk about last week. And a massive thank you. And the views are flooding in, over 1,000 on YouTube and a couple thousand views already for last week's guest, the awesome Miss Laura Cheadle. We'll give her a little round of applause. We played her brand new single, The Lust in Between, last week. We'll probably run it again this week. You know, when I do solo, sometimes I like to get some music out there to kind of pass the time away, and it's a little tough doing it by yourself. You know, you really don't have topics to bounce off people, but we have a lot of great topics. Thank you very much. Applause indeed. We have a lot of great topics to talk about tonight. We got Let's Argue. We have Mystery Grails back again, Man Cave Scores, and, of course, an outstanding guest, a beautiful actress, a brand new movie out of hers called The Beach. I'll welcome her here around 8:30 to talk about it. The lovely Miss Caitlin Patricia Weiler, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, should be great. We're supposed to have her on a few times. We had to cancel a few times between filming and just some issues and things come up. Like I always said, life happens. Finally got Caitlin with us tonight. And again, we appreciate it. We'll see her around 8:30 tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the movie, a little bit about her career and all the great stuff that she does charity-wise, etc. So let's go to a top 5 list. Let's do top 5. We're still doing top 5. You know, Jewel's not here tonight because we're talking about Philly sports. We talk about the Phillies. The Eagles are red hot. The Sixers start their season in a couple of days. Flyers will be back in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, let's do a top 5 dedicated to them. My top 5 all-time favorite Philly sports teams per season. So I pick a year. I tell you the team. It's not that hard. I think a lot of you will agree with some of these great picks. So let's get at them, shall we? And we'll start with number 5. And it is the 1996-97 Philadelphia Flyers. The Legion of Doom, Lindros, Leclerc, and Renberg. The team that got to the Stanley Cup Finals only to get wiped up by the Detroit Red Wings, but it is probably the best Flyers team we've had since the Stanley Cup days. An outstanding team. Loved Lindros. Loved the team. So they will be my number 5. The 1996-97 Philadelphia Flyers for one of my top 5 all-time Philly favorite sports team by season. Number 4, it is the 1980 Philadelphia Phillies. And I was old enough to remember, barely. And I went to a World Series game that year with Mike Schmidt and Pete Rose and Larry Bow and Bob Boone and Greg Luzinski and Steve Carlton and you name it. What a team. World champions, 1980 Philadelphia Phillies. I remember watching Game 6 when they clinched it at home. We're supposed to have tickets, but at my age, my father said, yeah, we're not going down there with that kind of mess. I did watch from home, though, 1980 Philadelphia Phillies. Number 3, a team I love very much and one of the best basketball teams of our time was 1982-83 Philadelphia 76ers. Again, Moses Malone comes to town. The Sixers team had always been in the playoffs. Never got to that next level. Moses Malone comes into town. Julius Erving and Mo Cheeks and Andrew Toney and the whole gang. And another world championship team. The last championship team the Sixers have seen, the 1982-83 Philadelphia 76ers. At number 2, none other than world effing champions, the 2008 Philadelphia Phillies. Remember Chase Utley saying it loud and proud at the post-parade party at the stadium. World effing champions. Beard shaggy tonight. 2008 Phillies, Jimmy Rollins promised we'd win the division, and we went from there. And just a great ball club, Howard and Utley and Jimmy Rollins, and just a team to remember. One of the best, most fun bunches here. Managed to win the 2008 World Series over the Tampa Rays, and what was cold, blustery, nasty World Series time of the year. Did get down the parade, though. Love that team. And, of course, number 1, you can't go anywhere in Philadelphia without mentioning Big Dick Nick Foles, the 2017-18 Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Just nothing wrong to say about this team. The season started with Carson Wentz. They were red hot, went all the way to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and New England Patriots, the Philly special, everything. You name it. That was a team right there. The 2017-18 Philadelphia Eagles are my number 1 for my top 5 favorite Philly sports teams per season. And I got to tell you, killed your Vikings indeed. That team was steamrolling that year, red hot getting into the playoffs and red hot through the season. It's a great thing to see. I was very proud of that team. It's a moment that we really waited for to get to that point. And finally, after all that, win the Super Bowl. So great stuff, great list, a lot of fun. Try to see what's going on. If you're watching on Facebook or trying to watch on Facebook, it goes on and off. It gets stuck sometimes, and now it's making it an event instead of a regular post. Always welcome to jump over to YouTube. By all means, make your comments. Check us out. We've been doing really good of late. Thousands of people have been watching on YouTube, so we greatly appreciate that. And those who watch on Facebook, of course, will still find us, etc., etc. So we appreciate everybody that checked us out and watches us here on the O Show. See it? Yeah, the event, you can't? I don't know. Anyway, let's figure that out. Another glitch for StreamYard. Maybe time to pull out a StreamYard once and for all. The Philly special, indeed, one of the best plays in the history of our sports town. Certainly needed it. Certainly got it. Just awesome. So again, 8:30 this evening, we're going to talk to Caitlyn Patricia Weiler, great actress. She'll be on with us. Like I said, we tried to get her on a few times. Tonight is finally that evening. We'll have her with us. Just trying to check something out here through the scroll. Happens, the magic of live video. Sometimes you have to go back and restart and et cetera, et cetera. There we go. All right, so let's talk more topics. And, of course, we have a sad one to deliver. We do sad ones sometimes. You got to scroll down the poll a little bit to find it. And I will find it here in a second. There it is. We say a very sad farewell and rest in peace to actress Angela Lansbury. Of course, well known for the show Murder, She Wrote. As Pat Summerall would say, Murder, She Wrote. Angela Lansbury passed away today. Of course, she did voiceovers for Beauty and the Beast. Terrific actress. Played the wonderful character in Murder, She Wrote. Angela Lansbury passed away today. So rest in peace to a wonderful actress, woman who had been a long-time actress and just an awesome person. Seemed like a wonderful person, at least from her characters. So to her surviving family, rest in peace, Angela Lansbury, as the microphone slowly begins to tilt. It's time for some new equipment. The old equipment, as you know, kind of took a poop. No idea why. I've got this wonderful microphone here, and it just refuses to work. It will not link or connect to any computer device in the house. And I'm working off my phone this week because I left the other computer at my brother's house watching fantasy football over the weekend. And for those who are wondering, because a lot of people out there think they're sports geniuses, and a lot of people like to, it's like a bro thing to pick on another guy who you think don't know as much about sports as you. So my one buddy's like, well, how's your fantasy football team doing? I'll tell you this week, not very good. 1 win. I'm sorry, 2 wins. 2 wins. Sorry, 2 wins and 3 losses. Yes, I'm in 5 fantasy leagues. 2 wins, 3 losses this week. Kind of hard to swallow, but, you know, these things happen. We will be back. No doubt about it. Come back and get them next week. A lot of players on buys. It's going to be that time of year where the buys are taking over. And, you know, it's really freaking hard to put together a team with bye weeks and trying to find extra players, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll put our best foot forward there. Bye weeks, no problem. But I do appreciate everybody for getting on my shit for losing severely. Oh, because I asked somebody why didn't play Gabriel Davis this week, who had a monster week for the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills are just a monster football team. So if anybody on our offense who sees the ball at all, you play them. Why not? Let's do this kind of neat thing. We'll get the Buffalo Bills blue coloring there. Isn't that neat? Nah, we want Eagles green. Give me some Eagles. There we go. Nice Eagles green. That's more like it. That's the team we root for around here on the O Show. So I put this out there a few weeks ago. I asked people to vote on a logo. As you know, we have 2 prominent looking logos. We had the one that I released a couple weeks ago on the National Podcast Day, the O Show with the bell and the microphone coming from the bell. Of course, yes, there's a little blemish there that we'd have to fix. So at the same time I got this, another graphic designer friend of mine said, hey, I got a logo because I know you're looking for one. And he offered us this wonderful one. I'm going to answer Lansbury's name out of there first. No offense. So this beautiful one here where the microphone is actually the bell itself. So you got a bell lid there, a microphone. The lightning bolt stands for the actual crack in the bell. Very creative. And your vote at the moment has this as the winner of our new logo. Of course, you know, we have the Yo MTV Raps looking Yo Show logo, which is cool. It's fun. But it's time for a change. And a lot of people like this one. My buddy Steve Giordano, who watches the show, great friend of the show, great friend of mine, went to work, came up, said, let's get something a little bit of a combo. Let's make the bell the microphone. And I said, what's the lightning bolt in here? So that stands as the crack in the bell. So the bell still has its crack, only it's more like an electric sound like goes to the microphone. The script, of course, Jewel was very particular on how we had a script. So, of course, the Yo Show and handwriting, which I really like as well. All on our way to kind of rebrand it, resell it, add some merchandise finally, and get some T-shirts out there and get some advertising and all that good stuff. So we thank everybody that voted. And most likely he's looking like this one is going to be the winner. The new Yo Show, the bell/microphone. I like them both. I do like this one as well. So maybe we'll use this one for Yo 2.0. Maybe we'll double whammy it. Maybe we'll do Yo 2.0 with a Philly and a microphone hanging. Who knows? A lot of great things to do. I still have my dry erase board in case anybody out there is wondering where do I find you all the time. And of course, www.theyoshow215.com, Facebook at the Stoop Radio Network, Instagram at the Yo Show 215, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, Jeff and Joel, YouTube, Twitch, and, of course, The Yo Show. Thank you. Did that all by myself. But you can find it here. You see the graphics. I run the graphics at the end of the night. So you always know where to find us. Never in doubt where the Yo Show is going to be at any time. Am I right? If I'm not right, I'm not doing my job right. But people said, did you ever think of maybe, I don't know, business cards or stuff like that? Yeah, I agree. It's a great idea. So a lot of things to branch out. We do have, like I said, so many great people that watch and share and etc. So we appreciate everybody that does that for us. We're on episode number 216 or 5 years deep. And it's got a lot of great stuff coming up. We'll talk about later in the show who's coming up, when. We got some great artists playing locally. So hit me up. If you see somebody on the show you like, say, hey, how do I find out more about them? Or just add them. And get out there and see them, because there's so many great artists just doing great jobs for us. And we love when they come on. And we love actresses like Caitlin. I said she'll be around 8:30. We get to talk a little bit about her life and times and acting career and her new movie, etc. It's a lot of fun what we do here. I got my Philly green and my little light here. You can't really tell it's green. Well, that light looks white, but it's green. Trust me. How far back you got to go to actually make that look green? Yeah. Not far enough. Cheers. The difficulties of not only doing it live, but doing it live by yourself. When there's moments that you absolutely run out of things to talk about. We're not going to run out of things. I got a lot to talk about. But you kind of like to have somebody here to bounce it off. But one of the things I want to talk about is, with a lot of time to kill still, is the Netflix movie I watched the other night, Luckiest Girl Alive, with Mila Kunis, who I love. I think she's just, thinks she's beautiful. Anyway, Luckiest Girl Alive tells a story about a very successful woman with kind of a checkered past, and her past kind of comes out as somebody tries to write a documentary about this story of a school shooting that branched off from bullying at this private school. So she went to this private school. I won't tell you too much about the story. It has some uncomfortable scenes, rape scenes, which I'm seeing way too much of in films lately. The Marilyn Monroe movie had it. This Luckiest Girl Alive had it. Handmaid's Tale has it. I don't know why there's so much of that going on nowadays in movies. Anyway, Luckiest Girl Alive, again, Mila Kunis. If you haven't seen it, it's really good, and she's awesome in it. She's just such a she's so multifaceted. Like, she used to be silly and goofy and funny in that 70s show. She plays kind of a bitchy character here, but you still root for her, a little bitchy, but you root for her, and it's a great movie. And every time something comes on, I heard a lot of people talking about it, so I mentioned to my wife, hey, check this out. My wife says, well, why don't you sit with me and watch it? So for the beauty of the show and knowing what I talk about, I sit down and I watch. It's funny you say that. Waiting for the Yo Show dancers. We have discussed, at least myself and Angela, on Wednesday nights. Angela Marie, of course, does some Wednesday nights with us. Allie as well. We have mentioned a couple of upcoming contests, tattoo contest, etc. So, get little things like that are coming. Who knows? Live shows. There's a lot of things on board that we're working with. Kind of why we're building a new brand. The Yo Show logo is still in the top corner for now, but we're going to lose that soon and get the new logo out there just to kind of bring a different approach. We're proud to be Philadelphians. We're proud of our city. We're proud to deliver it. And even though it's a show that goes across the world and we have guests and audience all over the world, we're still from Philly. So I like to pay homage to that. And like I said, the new logo will do that. We'll branch out. Some places in the area have mentioned, hey, bring the show here. So you just want things to do and present when you go live at locations, but we'll still keep it here as well on StreamYard so you can watch and love. The big story of the day all over social media, and I posted this thing and people have been blowing it up, and then people were messaging me and asking me, and I've been commenting, and it's got to be a real storm. And that is, of course, the official return of none other than Blink 182. Not only is Blink 182 reuniting for a tour, Tom DeLonge has returned from his UFO hunting, I guess, if you want to say. And they do plan a tour coming next year. Now, they're not playing Philadelphia, which irks me, as you know. Not even the Camden Waterfront, but they're playing in Hershey Park Arena. Supposed to be next May. Yeah, dude, you on a rock? Yeah, Blink-182 announced today that they're reuniting and world touring next year. So, and Tom is back. So, Hershey, Pennsylvania, the Hershey Park Arena, where I saw Guns N' Roses at. Not the biggest fan of the venue. Could do without it. Not crazy about heading there. Also, of course, if you have hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Atlantic City is going to be on their list. Atlantic City is where I had tickets to see them the last couple times, and both times it faltered. Of course, I had the one time I bought tickets to spend the weekend and see them in concert, and that flopped. We'll see what happens this time, see if they can keep it going, actually make it out on the road this time. This was actually a rumor that we had posted on here about a month or two back, and then it blew up that it was just a lie. Now they come out again and said it. A lot of different reliable sources are sharing it. People are getting giddy. And the funny thing, as usual, about Facebook people, the second it comes up, I'm going, tagging all your friends. We're going. You don't know. I keep telling everybody, don't get your hopes up. Make sure to like the day before, because these guys have let me down a couple times. And I love Blink-182. I love their music. I like the band. It's finally all back together. Let's see if they make it this time. A couple of times. One time it was a birthday gift for my wife, who's a massive fan. And we had a hotel room set up at the casino. And we had tickets right next to the stage, like first level up, right next to the stage. And just anticipating for weeks. Got canceled shortly after that and whatever. So I'll believe it when I see it. It's the what do you call that? Skeptic? It's a skeptic in me. I'm a skeptic. But we'll see. So yeah, Blink-182 has made allegedly their comeback. We shall see how it pans out in the very near future. Of course, you know, like I said, I'm waiting for it. I'm hoping for it. I would love to see it. I again, don't get my hopes up until the actual day of, but we shall see. Definitely shall see there as I fix my screen. I got a lot of computer nonsense going on here. Things are going out. Things are slowing down. They said they changed the way you get Facebook delivery on here. So some people are like, hey, why can't I see it? Well, you got to go with this event thing, or you come on over to YouTube. We need some audience tonight without Jewel. I feel very, very alone tonight. JD Wolf is here as always. He's under a small rock. Sorry to hear that, dude. Gotta get yourself out from under that rock. And as you know, you do find your way from under that rock to the Yo Show. This is where we deliver great news like this. So, the Philadelphia Eagles, as we talked about, another big victory this week over the Arizona Cardinals. A squeaker. Actually, a last-second missed field goal by the Cardinals helped propel the Eagles to a 5-0 record. And this week, of course, is Dallas week. That's right. Sunday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, as the Eagles try to remain undefeated, playing their very much hated arch rival, the Cowboys. Dak Prescott probably won't play in this one. Most likely be that Cooper Rush. And big game this weekend indeed against the Cowgirls. You know, there's those people out there that they live in Philly. Oh, I'm a Cowboys. You're Cowboys? No. Not your cow. In this city, it's your Eagles. There is no your Cowboys. You can like the Cowboys, but for God's sake, don't give me that my Cowboys crap. I'm trying to find my Eagles helmet. No, where I put it. But anyway, oh yeah, there it is. This Eagles. Not this. This stinks. I spit right on you. I hate the Cowboys. I despise the Cowboys. Matter of fact, in I listed my Mount Rushmore of hated sports teams. Cowboys are definitely at the top. Pittsburgh Penguins are in there too. no doubt about it. New York Yankees are in there. Who else? New Jersey Devils are in there. I forget the other two, but there's, you too. I agree. I can't stand the Cowboys. I don't care if it's Dak Prescott. I don't care if it's Cooper Rush. How about you use 2 quarterbacks? I could care less, just as long as we manage somehow to beat your ass when all is said and done. Sunday night, the Eagles attempt to go 6-0. Very excited for that. Expecting Caitlin Patricia Weiler in a moment. I have not gotten a text message, so it should be good. She said it's a good way to reach you in case something happens in the last moment. So she's got the text, the cell number. So far, so good. Expecting her around 8:30 tonight. Of course, tomorrow night, as I said, go 2.0 with Ellie. So she said her middle name is missing from the title. I can't change it now till probably after the program. I do apologize. Caitlin does like to use the full name. I kind of goofed on the intro of the ad. I do apologize for that. I do have it here tonight, though, all lined up fully. Caitlin Patricia Weiler, who's supposed to be joining us at 8:30, so hopefully we will have her here shortly. As I said before, we do have a show tomorrow night as well. 2.0 will be back, the Wednesday night program. Next week, we're celebrating next week Halloween already. Is it that late in the season? No, 2 weeks. Sorry. Not quite the Halloween show next week. Me and Joel get geeked over that. Next week, we have Meg Russell, terrific local artist. Next Wednesday, Joel will be back for that. 2 weeks, Halloween with Lydia Manson. So a lot of great stuff to look forward to, a lot of great stuff to talk about, and hopefully next 2 weeks we talk about 6-0 Eagles and the 7-0 Eagles and so on and so forth. As you look at the schedule, I'm going to look at the schedule real quick, just see where we're at here. I like to get preemptively excited. So this week, of course, is Dallas. If anybody knows who's the following week, jump in because my screen just jumped away on me. Excellent computer savvy here on the OSHA. Anyway, Dallas coming up next week. Let's reload that. So around 8:30, Caitlin Patricia Weiler should be joining us. We'll talk about her movie and a lot more stuff. We'll talk about her career as well. Giants are sneaky good. And it's funny how the Giants are decent. I mean, Saquon Barkley's come back, and he's having a good year. But they went into the regular season with Daniel Jones pretty much because they had no choice. Like, they were going to cut him. They were going to trade him. They were going to draft a quarterback, sign a quarterback, but nobody. Like, hey, you're our quarterback. And here they are again in second place. Well, actually, technically, I guess third place. Them and Dallas each have one loss. Hopefully, we can hang another loss on Dallas. The experts have us as a 5.5 point favorite. Not always a big fan of it, but we'll see. Speaking of NFL, real quick before Caitlin Patricia Weiler comes on, the 2 incidents on the field over the last couple of weeks, and if you watched the game a couple of weeks ago, and when a protester, they call him, charged the field during the Rams 49ers game, and he was tackled by linebacker Bobby Wagner. Of course, this fella, and last night, Devontae Adams had a rather bad ending to his game. So Wagner comes out and knocks over a camera guy, or a guy, I think he had a microphone in his hand, a camera, and Adams comes up, pretty much shoves this guy to the ground, said he spent the night in the hospital, sustained injuries, etc. The problem is both of these men are now filing police charges on these 2 players. And it opens up a whole can of worms for me. It's something that I want to talk about for quite a while tonight, but like I said, I'll start it now, and we'll get Caitlin out here, and then we'll come back to this, because I got a problem, number one, with people charging the field. It's plain as day on the tickets. It's plain as day in the rules of life. You don't charge onto the field and put players at risk. Yeah, the streaker isn't in that. He filed police charges, and filing a police report against Bobby Wagner. And here's a guy that comes out with like a pink smoke bomb in his hand. Says he's protesting. What he's protesting, I really don't know. And I'm not going to be that guy to say you can't protest things, but you're going to run onto the field and risk the safety of yourself, the players, and everyone else watching this game. Wagner takes it into his own hands and knocks this guy to the ground, pretty much to secure the safety. And this guy's going to file a charge against him. Police report, like filing charges. When he's illegally on the field in the first place. And again, it says on the ticket, it's in the rules. You don't run onto the field. That is a crime. So he's out there committing a crime. Wagner tries to stop the crime. Suddenly, this guy's able to file a police report and file charges. The guy last night, if you didn't watch the game, great game last night, by the way, that the Chiefs ended up pulling out over the Raiders. The guy last night, Raiders wide receiver Devontae Adams went up to try and make a great catch. He says 1 foot was out of bounds. He was frustrated about it. He was really upset about it. Not really cost him the game. They cost themselves the game earlier by not going for an extra point and went for 2 points again and didn't make it, but that's neither here nor there. So Adams is obviously pretty pissed that he wasn't able to come down with the catch. And you could see it in his eyes. He's slamming his helmet on the sidelines. You're not in Green Bay anymore. You're now in Las Vegas. And at the end of the game, he walks off the field. And you actually show it. He's walking off the field. And there's a guy with a giant mic and one of them tubes and a mic, like right in his face. I don't know if it's a camera guy or what he was. And Adams is walking up the aisle, and this guy is right in his face with this thing. So Adams is, like I said, pretty bent over the loss. And he walks up to this fella and pushes him out of the way. The guy goes over, falls to the ground. And a lot of people were just blown up, of course, on Twitter, because what else do they do on Twitter? But just blow up other people and point out their shortcomings. Thank you, Twitter. So it became this big mess where he said he spent the night in the hospital and he's got all these injuries. And Adams apologized on every social media site possible. And he said he was wrong. And the heat of the game got to him. But again, police report, police charges filed. I don't, I'm confused by it. But we'll talk about it a little bit later. We'll get back to it. Think about it amongst yourselves and make sure you come back later for more discussion, because let's get on to some positive stuff, some fun stuff, the reason why we do this program, and it's our great guest. And tonight, young lady who's got a brand new movie out called The Beach. And she just has a lot of great stuff, a lot of great stories to talk about. I'm very excited to bring her out. Please help me welcome the amazing Caitlyn Patricia Weiler to our program. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
Great. I'm so glad to finally be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to have you here. And like I said, I know things happen. The one thing we always say about this show, especially doing it live, is that life happens. And whether you're a professional like yourself and you get caught in the filming, or you get caught with family, or things happen, we get it. And we're very, poised, calm to have you here. And now you're joining us. We can't thank you enough for that. And how are things, man? I know you've been very busy in reading your biography and your profile and watching your website. You're always a super busy person. You got this brand new movie coming out. Let's talk about let's talk a little bit about the movie. And excuse me if it looks like I'm looking down. I usually have another prompter here. It broke. So I'm a prompter short now. I'm kind of working from the phone. The new project is The Beach. Excellent movie. Tell us all about it, please.
Yeah, so that's been a whirlwind. I guess the biggest news with me is I've changed my look. So a lot of people, if anyone's tuning in that has been following me for years, I cut all my hair off to start this new chapter of my life, bringing me into this world of becoming a first-time filmmaker, which has been incredible.
Congratulations.
I kind of stumbled upon that. I was inspired to write this film due to the Huntington Beach oil spill that hit my community almost exactly a year ago. I was just down on the beach a couple of weekends ago and was talking to some of my local neighbors. And it was just so crazy that a whole year has passed. And in that time, I took what was happening in my community and I really wanted to create something that was artistic and different that would spark positive change to help conserve our ocean and coastline. Because on those days right after that oil spill, I couldn't believe even 10 miles from the beach, we could smell the oil in the air.
Wow.
I mean, all the animals that were impacted and the wildlife, so many things. And I mean, one day I was out on the beach doing yoga and all the people with, protective gear, goggles, gloves, masks were still cleaning up the beach. And it just really broke my heart because in the way that the world is right now, everything's so crazy that the one place that I personally find a lot of joy and comfort is the beach. And so to see it in such a state, I wanted to tell this story, which became The Beach, which is a narrative film, kind of acts like a PSA in a creative format, again, to help preserve our ocean and coastline. So it's been a really fabulous experience. And I can't believe how well we've been doing in the film festival circuit. That has been such a fun ride to be on.
Awesome. And congratulations on that. Like I said, creating your first film. And when we had first talked about it, you said, like, I have such a big project coming up that let's wait till it gets closer so we can talk about it. Obviously, it's The Beach. So congratulations on it. It seems like it's doing great. And then it is kind of funny because when I was using photos of you, it was usually the long hair. And you said, to me, in confidence in our emails, because I'd like to share emails with the guests and know what they like and know how they want to discuss things. You're like, yeah, that hairdo, that's not me anymore. So let's go with the new me and get the full name. And I appreciate that. And it's a great branding and you build yourself perfectly because you're so upfront and honest about yourself. So what's it been like? Do you notice a change in it, a change in mental state? I mean, I know on the beach, you're in the movie, you're in bikini, you're showing off your fitness because you're big into fitness. Describe like the new style that you said you're after.
Yeah, well, making this film, I was everything from the art department to craft services to, I was making props. Actually, a funny story of that, when I was creating all the props for the film, I had laid out tarps right here I'm in my living room right now. And I was collecting trash for several months. And I actually got contact dermatitis all over my hands from
Oh
creating
my
these
God.
props. I mean, they were clean recyclables, but what I had planned to do was I had bought like a fish netting and had tied everything together with clear string so that we could place it in different areas on the beach and then have an easy cleanup and make sure that nothing was left behind. So just the process in itself, because as an actor, you do learn a lot about the other aspects of creating a film. And I've been a writer my entire life as well. So I really fully understand those processes. But when it came to all the other things that came to having to make your film, like, for example, I had to get a DCP made, which is a digital cinema package.
Oh,
Prior
wow.
to becoming a filmmaker, I did not know what that was, and I had to get that ready so The Beach could premiere at the TLC theaters in Hollywood, which was like, oh my gosh, I have no words for what I felt when I was sitting in that theater watching myself for my film that I wrote and I starred in. It was absolutely terrifying in the best way possible. And I'm really proud of it, and I'm already looking forward to the next project. Even though it was challenging, it's challenges that I would be happy to go through again.
That is excellent. And one of the things that came to mind right away, being an actress, like you said, as you are, and you've been on radio, etc. Do you find it easier to fall? Well, obviously, it's got to be easier to fall in love with a project when it's from your hand to the
Yes.
paper to your acting. Do you find it easier to get into it than somebody says, "Well, here's a script, check it out, and then come see us." And then you walk on to like another set.
Yeah, I think there's a different type of passion for each project. I played all three characters in my film. There's a woman from present day, a woman from the past, and a creature character. So these three different characters I all related to in a different way, and I think kind of going into it, since I was the creator, it just kind of gives a different point of reference when you're ready when the director says action and you're ready to perform.
I assume it's also easier to kind of improv things. You get a different reaction or a different scene or a different something in nature happens around it. You just change it on point. Did you find yourself at moments being like on the spur of the moment, like, yeah, I got to do this real quick and mix it up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I just shot another short film actually a couple of weeks ago that was a comedy, and that was just a completely different process, because for that as well, there was a lot of copy, a lot of lines, working with other actors where, you get to play and you get to experiment. And that was really fun too, especially with it being back-to-back weekends of doing a lot with the film festivals and seeing my film, and then kind of going into this completely different project. It just pushes yourself, as a creator and a performer. And for me, that's the fun part.
That's awesome. Now, when you're at the theater watching your product on screen, like again, you're acting in it, you wrote it. Are you looking around at the audience to see how people are taking it in, or are you just staring at the finished product on the screen? Because I'd be watching everybody else.
Yes and no. Well, during my premiere, unfortunately, this group came into our aisle and stood directly in front of me. So
Oh my God.
I was throwing a little bit of a fit in the moment of like, oh my gosh, I've got 5 minutes and you're standing right in front of me. So that threw me off a little bit for that first premiere. But then now that I've seen it a few times, yeah, I am looking around. And I'm also, every different film festival has different films in their blocks. So it's interesting to see what was paired with my film.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Some of the awards that we won so far was most impactful short film, best experimental short film, best fantasy short. And then we also won an honorable mention award for the creature makeup, which my special effects makeup artist, her name is Corinna. She is the owner of Artistic LA. If you ever need any body painting, creative services, this woman is incredible. I mean, she went into my brain and created this incredible creature. I mean, we had gills on my face, we had oil coming out of my eyes, we had pieces of plastic silverware coming out of my arms. It was just so cool. The makeup took about 5 or 6 hours to do on that day. And our filming days, it was an abrupt 95, 100-degree day in February when we were doing this with the body paint and all this. So, and all the tourists in the world came out because it was a beautiful day and we had planned on an empty beach. So, I mean, I think we had pretty much every challenge we could possibly face, and still did an amazing job to get it completed.
That's excellent. And as I noticed, you're into so many different arts. As an artist, do you plan the perfect picture? Does it always work out the way you like it? Because like I said, you had the props, you're laying them out in your living room. You had the vision of the characters, etc. When you get out there, it's like, okay, I got this. There's always like, oh damn, now I got to put this together.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was like, oh yay, oh my gosh. But I have to thank just my incredible crew, especially my director, Matthew S. Robinson, who did such an incredible job, not only by directing the film, but helping support me through the process. And, we're still entering different festivals. So this will be probably a year long that we'll play with this film. We have another festival coming up in November, the Studio City International Film Festival, and a couple others we're in the semifinals for, just kind of hoping that we get that screening. Because for me, really, it's all about going to these events, seeing what other creators have to create, because that also inspires me. And within that, I've got to network and meet so many other great people. And it just excites me to push myself to do an even larger project. And I've even considered, maybe changing and trying something new of a screenplay contest to then write something in a longer format that I could maybe get funding for to do, in an even bigger way, because this film I actually funded all myself.
Wow.
And as we went through the process, of course, more and more things came up in the budget, that needed to be taken care of. So of course it would be great to have, sponsors or backers to a future project. So a lot of things I've been thinking about as I've been learning throughout this journey.
That's terrific. And as always, I run everything down the bottom, all the links to find Caitlin Patricia Weiler. So maybe if you like what you see from the beach and you finally get to check it out, hit her up. Let's get some funding. Let's get a bigger project, because that's got to be awesome. Again, very big into fitness. Kit Body is your fitness program. Like I said, you're into yoga, etc. And of course, and seeing you in the movie, like I said, you're fit, you're in great shape. Do you feel that it helps you in your acting and your roles to be in great shape? Because it's got to be a lot of grueling work, especially when you're on like a stagehand as well as acting in it. And I'm sure there's, moments where you just glad to have that extra energy. Is there any tips you could teach other actors who may tune in to hear? And just how does the physical aspect help you along your journey of acting?
Sure. Yeah. I actually had my business Kit Body for about 5 years. I'd recently, just in the last probably 6 months or so, shut that down because I was adding too much to my plate and I really wanted to focus more on the filmmaking and writing and being an actor. But I had gotten into stunt works, small parts of stunt work. So I do have a sports specific agent. So always staying in shape is really important. I love practicing for stunts for single hand weapons. I've done archery and some different things. So
Wow.
all of that is physically demanding. And I mean, I had done one of the older films I did was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was Quentin Tarantino's amazing movie. He was so cool to work with. And part of that, I got to be at the Playboy Mansion all week, which was an experience in itself. But
Grueling, huh?
nights were all overnight films. So I worked 4 days overnights. I had to arrive at about 8 p.m. for hair and makeup. And I was
Wow.
going home, 7, 8 a.m. when the sun came up. And regardless, if you try to get ready for something like that, your body, at least my body, didn't exactly accept that I needed to be awake all night and then sleep all day. So I think when it comes to those kind of situations and making sure you stay hydrated and, you're doing some kind of movement every day, that will make any job easier, in my opinion.
Wow. That's, I mean, it's amazing because I look at you and everything you do, and I always ask artists, I'm getting to yours a little earlier in the question line just because I'm very curious. What do you do for free time? It seems like you have nothing. It seems like you always have a project or a self workout, something going on. Is there free time? What do you do in your free time? And does everything you do just revolve around creating, even if it's just storing it in your brain?
Sometimes it feels like that, yes, but my real downtime, because I don't sit still very easily, is really just going to the beach, doing something like yoga. I did do a long, couple miles on the beach just to decompress. But I really just enjoy writing and reading, sometimes cooking, hiking. So really anything outdoors is kind of my break, but I find myself wanting to be creative in those environments as well.
It's very cool. And with that, all that activity, your body moving, etc. I noticed you used to be um, on the radio.
Yes, yes, I did.
It's quite a difference to sit in a chair like this, sit in a
Yes.
chair for an hour or two and talk. How was that? And was that kind of like just a stepping stone? Like, look, I'm going to get out there and then move on. Or did you really enjoy the radio?
Oh, I loved it. I really loved it. I started when I still lived in Boston, Massachusetts, so I was remotely kind of coming in, and I did that for about 2 years. And it just was that, my lifestyle changed. I kind of worked in marketing for a little bit, but I do still have, it's at the top of my bucket list to have my own podcast show in the near future. But again, I didn't want to spread myself too thin. So kind of
Exactly.
just trying to focus on what I already have on my plate, which is a lot. But I love talking to people. I worked, for over 10 years as a product specialist and brand ambassador for all different brands. So
Wow.
that kind of work where I'm interacting with the public, thousands of people sometimes on a day, giving my own personal experience, my relation to that product or service that I'm promoting. So I guess it's kind of just become part of my lifestyle and my career where, talking to people and talking about things is just what I'm about.
I noticed that, and your delivery is excellent. If you ever decide to go into the pod world, I suggest webcast because your delivery is great. You're very confident in your voice, and I love that. And I love that about a lot of our guests. But you really seem to nail it. And when I talk about like the emails we shared leading up to this, you definitely have a specific idea of how you want to be presented. I love that because there's a professionalism about it. And sometimes I swear we goof up people's names and we kind of goof up projects, and at the end I feel awful because everybody's just so great to join us. But I really love that fact, and your professionalism is terrific. What brought you to acting? Like you said, you're a New England girl from Massachusetts area. When did you decide that, look, I'm going to go out, get this, travel out west, and I'm going to be an actress and a star? How did it hit you, and what kind of got you to that point?
Well, interesting question. I guess I've always felt this magnetic pull to California. When I was in my teenage years, I started doing pageants. And I really don't even know why I started them because they terrified me. I couldn't speak in front of a crowd. I felt like I walked awkward. Like nothing about a pageant was something that like this girl could do. But I did that for 15 years until I won an international title. And I really feel that those years helped groom me and train me and help me identify really where I fit in when it came to performing. Because when I was 4 years old, I started dancing. So I did tap, jazz, ballet, acrobatics,
Wow.
you name it. And then in high school, through college, I played every sport I could. I was varsity captain of my dance team, tennis team, played softball, soccer, like had to do it all. I'm still kind of the same way. So I think, kind of getting into the pageants, I had done some acting competitions within the pageants and had won those. And then when I went to college, I had changed my my major last minute to be entrepreneurship and then got a job running a modeling agency and teaching modeling and acting classes. So then after that short time of kind of managing that agency, I couldn't grow anymore. I was in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm like, I need to expand. So I moved to New York City and learned a lot of hard lessons trying to be a model and actor in those days. That was I guess the mid 2000s, probably like 2010-ish. I was in that area and eventually came back to Boston to make all the money back that I lost. And then I still was like, I need to get out to California. Something is just pulling me there. New York was not for me, although I loved it in some ways. Being out here in California, I've been here 4 years now permanently. And I can say like, this is definitely a place I see myself living indefinitely. Prior to making it permanent here, I lived and worked in Mexico City, Mexico for 2 years. So yo necesito practicar más español.
Wow.
Didn't know any Spanish when I went over there. Ended up booking some modeling campaigns, was on the cover of a magazine, all over every stand in Mexico, which was crazy cool. And got to do my real first like speaking role in a feature film. So all those experiences, especially being in another language, that really helped season me so that when I came back to the US, I was like, oh, this is English. I know where I am. Like, this is easy.
Kind of like a no fear, I guess. And I saw the Mexico City in the project and I couldn't even pronounce it. So I'm even going to try to butcher it. But, and it's just amazing how you get some people say, well, I tried a different city and it didn't go that well. You pretty much tried.
I tried them all. Yeah,
You
before I
tried
went
North
to
America,
Mexico,
right?
I was in Miami, and that's where actually I knew I needed to learn Spanish because I had one agent that was like, I really think you'll do well. Maybe you should try this out. And every time I got in an Uber in Miami, I just said, hola, yo necesito practicar más español. And that was really how I started my language classes was in Ubers.
That's amazing. It's just awesome because it just seems like you're versed in everything. And there's people out there, do you just ask them to do anything and they nail it? Is there anything you think you can't handle?
I would say singing. Singing is not my biggest cup of tea. We're not hitting any high notes or any low notes. I can do something very basic, although that would probably be my least favorite thing to have to do.
Understood. Makes plenty of sense. Let's turn for a second, if you don't mind, to some of the serious things. You do a lot of advocation and a lot of great charity work. Definitely an advocate against cruelty to animals. We saw that. That's excellent. Cancer work, and I know cancer has hit your family as well as mine. My wife is currently a survivor of breast cancer, currently cured, and I know it's been a part of your life. Also, the SCI, spinal cord injury. Tell us a little bit, something about all this great charity work you do. I know we don't have tons of time to break into it, but just kind of enlighten people and they can get a feel of it. And of course, search your sites afterwards to find out the great work you do.
Yeah, sure. So growing up, my father was actually a quadriplegic. He was injured in a swimming accident right before I was born and then quickly passed away when I was about 12 years old to intestinal and bladder cancer. So both cancer and just spinal cord injury awareness has been something that's been very near and dear to my heart. And when I was younger, since I lost my father to cancer, I had spent a lot of hours volunteering for all different kind of cancer research organizations and giving my time in that way. And then when I was Miss Massachusetts, probably around 2014-ish, I'm trying to remember the dates, but I went and did some work at Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital in Boston, which is known as one of the best rehabilitation centers in the country. and basically went up and went at this event and spoke about how much it means to me to advocate for the spinal cord injury community. And the head doctor of that department at the time then called me after that event and actually offered me a job in spinal cord injury research.
Wow.
And I was really taken aback by the opportunity, and I didn't know what to expect. And I was very honest with the doctor. I said, I have never worked in spinal cord injury research. This is not my background. I have a background in business, but I would love to give this a shot if you would allow me to make the position my own, because I said, I'm not somebody that can sit at a desk 40 hours a week. I said, that's not going to work for me. So if I'm able to work with patients in order to help them be a part of these studies to gain us, that valuable information, I'd love to try it. And it worked out really well. I was there for about 2 years. And the really bitter, kind of the sweet thing about it was that at my office at Spalding, I actually had the perfect view of my father's old office. When my dad worked in Boston, he was a geotechnical engineer. So even though he was injured, he didn't allow that to stop him from taking care of his family or to continue, living his life. And I do have to say, the best lesson that he taught me was that strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things that you once thought you couldn't. So whenever I'm feeling down on myself, which happens to be often, to be honest, I try to remind myself of, that important lesson that he taught me, and that, he had so many other greater challenges and adversities that he faced and just kept, pushing forward. So I hope that, maybe that advice can help some of our, viewers watching out there.
Absolutely. And it's terrific. And you can put yourself well through it and deliver it well. I know it's got to be a tough subject, and it's tough for me when people say, hey, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know that, and she knows that, and we get it. So it is good, though, to share the stories of success. And one thing my wife always says is, one day I want to be the person who constantly shares success stories. And as you are kind of doing yourself, that you do great research for it and great work. So congratulations on that, because that's actually, it's amazing. And to read the story and to see your work for it is great. Do you feel like having the platforms is important in sharing stuff like this? Some people have the platform just, hey, I'm going to be famous and go about my business. Some people want to be famous. I want to be famous, so my word gets out there. Do you feel you're doing a lot of great service for that by, making movies and showing up at these festivals, etc.?
Yes, definitely. And I think that's what really drives me. I would really love to be able to create a film in support of the spinal cord injured community. I've always wanted to start my own nonprofit in my father's honor. There just hasn't been the right things in place for me to put it together in a place where I feel it could really flourish and grow. So I've been holding off and waiting for that right opportunity. And I think with my film, The Beach, this is a little bit of a smaller project, an environmental message. So, it helped me kind of work in something that it's important to me and passionate, but kind of on a different scale. So I definitely see, using any kind of, visibility that I can get, to help these other causes that are near and dear to my heart.
That's awesome. I love that. We try to do what little charity work we can here and raise some money for different charities. And I know when the pandemic came around, we had a little local fundraiser where they were raising money for food, and we had a marathon show, and people sang and people contributed money and they went out and etc. So that's absolutely awesome. You have another project coming out, your next movie, Game of Power. I know it's kind of hush hush because it's in production, but anything you can give us about, any ideas what it's about? A lot of people come on and say, can't tell you a word. Can you give us any scoop of what we can expect?
Yeah, so that project was something that I've been cast in that project for a while now. So I'm really antsy about, getting to film. I heard that we're supposed to be filming in New Mexico.
Awesome.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. My character gets brutally murdered, and I'm really just excited about how that experience is going to be.
I guess it's a new.
People might think about that, but I'm really excited.
I guess that's a new venture for you. Brutal murder is next up on your resume.
It is. It is. Yes.
Is there ever a role? Now you mentioned that. Is there ever a role that you watch and you're like, man, I wish I could do that, or man, I wish I could remake that, or any movie you want to be part of? A couple of things that you always dreamed about being a part of, maybe someday.
Oh yes, all the time. I remember when the new Supergirl series came out. I was like, could I just be Supergirl, please? That kind of checks off a lot of things that I would want to do. And another series I just binged a couple of months ago was How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes.
Wow, like Viola
Wow.
Davis. My gosh, like it was just I couldn't believe how many season after season after season you're just like this just it gets better. How does it even get better with every season? So, and that kind of show brings you through all these different emotions. You're dying to know what's happening next. Like I was so hooked on that show. So I would love to be cast, in that type of series in the near future.
That's a great thing. And you say superhero. I think everybody has a niche to be a superhero of some sort at some point in their lives. A lot of the actors we get on say, "Is there any role?" And a lot of them say, "Yeah, I'd like to be in a Marvel movie." So superhero always seems on the list, and that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, anything that would be like outside the box of your real life, like a period piece, anything like that would be really, really cool to be a part of.
Sure. I was going to say you got a little bit of a God rest her soul. You got a little bit of a Olivia Newton-John thing in you, but you said you can't sing, although you can dance. So maybe the Grease thing is out of the question, but you got the look at least.
Love it. I love it.
Thank you very much. So one of the things you love to do, and you mentioned you love to inspire people. And I asked you, I haven't asked you yet. You said earlier you're inspired by other filmmakers and being in a room with other filmmakers and watching, etc. What are some things that you tell people to inspire them? You see another filmmaker. What kind of advice can you give to them to say, hey, blank, that you think can inspire them and change their mind?
Well, I think when you're looking to be inspired, that's when you don't get inspired. So I'd say, you have to find like what makes you feel alive. And for me, it's not that just creating makes me feel alive. It's like it's having this idea and using my imagination and then finding a way to actually bring that to life. Because a lot of times when we use our imagination, these things they seem impossible. They really do. When I had the idea for the beach, it seemed impossible. And I was telling my friend Peter Sobey, who is actually my co-writer to the film, about it, and he was just like, "Caitlin, this is such a good story. You need to put it into a script." And I was like, "No, Peter, it's just something simple. What's whatever." And he's like, "No, you should do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine. I'll do it because you're telling me to do it." And here we are, like
Right.
6 awards later, and I am a filmmaker, which is amazing. So it wasn't even, I guess this is the first time for me where I didn't specifically set out to do something and have a very specific plan, because as you can tell, I'm a planner.
A little bit.
So it was really cool for me to kind of fall into this project by just being passionate about conserving our ocean and coastline. That's really where it stemmed from. It was that I saw what was going on in my community, and I was frustrated that like in the moment, like I couldn't physically like do something. Yes, I did some beach cleanup and different things like that, but for me, that wasn't enough. It was just, I have something more to give that just comes naturally to me, and I want to give that. So I think that's what I would tell an aspiring person to find their inspiration, is just even pause and just feel what's stirring in you that you feel that you can contribute.
Wow, that is just amazing advice. And I had noticed about, like you said, your organization, you always have a plan. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually excellent, because let's see, you came out here. I always say about a 30-minute interview. We're about 35 minutes deep and we didn't miss a beat. You've gotten everything out. I feel like I feel like I've lost control of the whole thing. In a good way, though. In a good way, because you're so good. And I love that. So as a creator, real quick, I got to ask. I ask a lot of people this that do a lot of writing, creating. Even The Beach, which you said is more of a shorter length film.
Mhm.
How much gets taken off your typewriter or your computer and left on the floor? Like, no, that stinks. Or that's not going nowhere. Let's go somewhere else. How much do you critique yourself, and how much of it just ends up being no good before you get to the final project?
Well, when it comes to just in things in general, I am my own worst critic for sure. I'm very,
Amen. Yeah.
very hard on myself. But now that I've had more experience, I try to take myself outside of myself, which is hard to do, and
Sure.
say, no one sees that little mark on the side of your dress that you're agonizing about, and you want to delete that whole thing and redo it. Stop. So I'm trying to be better at I'm a recovering perfectionist. That's what it is.
I like that.
But when it comes to the film, I was just thinking of that the other day. There's a lot of footage that didn't make it into the final cut. And, I left that up to my editor and the director and everybody else who was kind of working in those components. But I know that we only took 2 or 3 shots of every single shot because we had very limited time. We were working with the light. We had to get everything finished. So I don't think in my project, The Beach, there was too much that was unused. But in general, yes, I only want the best to come out
Sure.
that I share with the world.
It's got to be something. And we do it live. And a lot of people are like, how do you do your show live? Don't you watch the next day? I'm like, I've watched many a time. I hear a sound effect.
You don't need to watch it. You're already doing it. You already did it.
Right.
It.
Exactly. I always rewatch. I was told by a guest we have coming up on our show in a few weeks, a gentleman by the name of Ralph Sutton out of New York. He runs a great radio show and podcast. And he says, dude, if you're not going to listen to yourself, rewatch yourself, what makes you think other people are going to watch you? And ever since then, I rewatch every program. I critique the ever-living crap out of myself. I haven't changed or gotten any better, but I do critique it. I believe in that, to watch yourself and learn. There's times I wrote things down or typed things in. I'm like, no, I'm not even asking that. I usually come out with like 15 questions, and sometimes it's like, nah, because the conversation carries itself somewhere else. And that's what I love about. I'll even go out and brag a little bit about intelligent guests like yourself. You have so much to say that you can lead me to another direction, answer a question without me even answering it. Like I said, about who inspires you, you answer it. And that makes it great. That's what helps it go live. Terrific guests like yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I would love to invite you back when another project comes out, and maybe we'll talk after the next movie or when your own full length thing comes out, because you're an absolute pleasure. That half hour went, God, 40 minutes now went by.
Oh my
so
gosh,
freaking by now.
Short.
Right, we said last night, you said might have to keep it short. I know you've been feeling a little under the weather, and I do appreciate you battling through that.
Imagine me at 100%, Jeff.
Right, I'm a little scared, but I'm also very inspired, because this is, you said, I may not be my full me, and we talked about changing the days, and in the end we couldn't do it. And you said, look, let's just get out there and make this happen. And I'm thrilled for that. Been excited for it. Been a fan, kind of watching your stuff for a while, and finally getting you here meant a lot to me, and I do appreciate that. Everybody out there that watches, whether you're watching live or you're watching recording, you can find Caitlyn Patricia Weiler at IMDb, of course, which is the mecca of movie information, at Caitlyn Patricia Weiler. www.CaitlynPatriciaWeiler.com is the website. Instagram at Kate and Facebook at Caitlyn Patricia Weiler. Make sure you go check out these sites, find her projects, look at the great charity work she does, and just learn from, hell, I'm going to say, learn from one of the masters of how to articulate your life and line things up and just go for it, because it's out there. And Caitlyn, you're an example. Go for it. And it's out there. If you're willing to work hard for it, you'll get it.
Thank you, Jeff. It was such a pleasure. And I cannot wait till I can come back to the O Show.
Absolutely. And we will we'll discuss and talk. And like I said, feel free to email me at any time, any ideas, any other projects. Definitely going to check them out. And we'd love to welcome you back real soon. Hopefully next time Jewel can come on. She would love it as well. She's probably watching from her desk at work, having a blast listening to this. So we greatly appreciate it. Have yourself a great night, and congratulations and much more success coming your way.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
You got it. Caitlyn Patricia Weiler, everybody. Have yourself a great evening. I will remove her to make it a little less uncomfortable, but I appreciate, she was awesome. And we did speak a lot through email, and the magic of what we do here. And I know we're like a low budget on certain things, and we don't do certain things like big budget programs do. And everybody says, what's your show about? It's about entertainment. Yes. It's about the arts. Yes. But it's also about real, and the real people that make it happen. I don't really care who you vote for. I don't care what your stance is on certain items. We don't do politics. I'm not really worried about that. I want to know what brings the people to the point of the art and how they create it and their history. And like I said, Caitlyn does great charity work as well as writing and acting and, heck, dancing, sports, you name it. There's never really a downtime, and stuff like that really inspires me. And when I look at the guest and through social media, people pop up, I'm like, all right, let's look into their story a little bit. Looks great. Let's see if they'll come on. Every time you get that yes, you're just super excited. I've been super excited for Caitlyn to come on for quite a while. And like I said, things happen, production, etc. I've had guests at the last minute say, hey, I'm going to be shooting, I can't get there, or this thing go right, I can't get there. We get it. We're always here. We're always available for the great artists here on the Yo Show. I get giddy after the guests. It's hard to it's hard to come down a notch after the guest. So take a little sip of beverage here to kind of wind myself down. And this is a moment again that having a co-host helps. But Jewel told me the other day, yeah, I'm not going to make it, and I didn't want to force anybody to come on last minute and try to put it together because, like I said, Caitlin just appears like somebody who is so well spoken and would be so prepared. We wouldn't miss a beat. We didn't. We ran through 40 minutes like that. Kind of sad at the end to end, but I promise a half hour. I try to stick to that. So yeah, a lot of good things, a lot of great stuff that has been coming on. We got a lot of great subjects to talk about, and let's go from the world of acting. We stick to the world of acting, and we talk about Christian Bale. Now, I read this article today that I wasn't even aware of. So Christian Bale was discussing his work on the movie American Psycho, and he was talking about his pay, and apparently he got paid less than anybody in the makeup crew. So the people doing the makeup were getting paid more money than Christian Bale, which he said was rough. He was the butt of jokes, and they were picking on him and giving him a hard time and mocking him, saying, hey, how can you even try to act in this movie and be the lead actor? We're all making more money than you. So he said it was a growing experience, something to learn from. Again, great. Learn from these kind of moments. And then he said he got offered the role after Leonardo DiCaprio had passed on the role. And he actually said, look, a lot of the actors in their 20s, 30s can thank Leo for a lot of the roles because he gets offered everything, turns it down. And Bale said, don't get me wrong, he's an awesome actor. He's a legend. But the movies he turns down, the things that he passes on, leads on to these great things. Sorry I'm late. Busy tonight. Jewel Tatey from her desk. I did promise Caitlin that you'd be watching from your desk, and you were. So welcome, Jewel. We miss you, and can't wait to see you again next week. Sorry I missed this. Ava Smith, thank you for the hello you sent us there earlier with your Twitch emojis. Or is that? That's hard to tell. Anyway, it's very cool. But Jewel, thank you for tuning in. And again, like Christian Bale said, I'm not busting on Leo. The man's a phenomenal actor. He's a phenomenal promoter. He does everything right. And a lot of us have a lot to thank him for. And Bale, he said it kind of fueled him for his next movies. American Psycho has become an absolute classic. Let's face it. It's a great movie. It's kind of gross, kind of sick, but it's a classic. So I guess to not get that immediate money didn't really hurt him in the end, but it was a great story to read about and hear about. The adult Happy Meal. McDonald's has come out with the adult Happy Meal. And I got to get my notes on this because I got to read into this. There were so many rumors going around of what the adult Happy Meal was supposed to be. And I don't know if you've seen any pictures, like people are showing a potential, look like a Grimace butt toy. I don't know. You've seen a lot of silly pictures. So I said, let me read into this adult Happy Meal thing and see what's involved. So first of all, with the adult Happy Meal, you're getting either a Big Mac and fries, or you're going to get a McNuggets and fries. The meal is $12.29. Okay. Mini chicken parm nuggets? I did not know. I did not see that part. Mini chicken parm nuggets to me sounds intriguing. I'm intrigued by that. But I heard like the meals are $12.29. I know the time we live in, but man, $12.29 for a little meal, fries, and a soda and a toy. And even the toy's not getting a lot of rave reviews. And the I don't know. I just hear so many bad things about it, right? I mean, Jewel, if you read into what the toys are, they all have 4 eyes. There's like a Grimace and a Ronald and the one character from the clothing design line that they got in cooperation with. The characters have 4 eyes. They're like cheap little plastic toys. And a lot of people are really turned off by it. They said there's nothing adult about it except the price. Sure, $12.29. I went to McDonald's today. I'm guilty. I know a lot of people say, I don't eat that crap. Well, sometimes I enjoy a nice McDonald's. And I went, and the Phillies game is getting ready to start. Wanted to rush out and get some food. I'm off work this week. Got a little time to rest. So I went and I got a quarter pounder meal. I got some chicken nuggets. I think I paid like $16 or $17. There's a time you can go out to dinner for $16 or $17. Bring back the Halloween buckets. I agree. That is a terrific idea. I miss the Halloween buckets. I miss a lot of the holiday theme stuff that fast food restaurants would do. And remember back in the day, like when the Shamrock Shake came out, it was like national news, and every commercial was about it, and people all over were rushing to get the Shamrock Shake. Now you don't even know it's there. You go, you happen to see it by accident. It's not good anymore either. It's not like it used to be. But disappointing, and the adult hat me like people, oh yeah, you're getting sex toys. It's like a dumb. No, you're not getting any of that. You're not getting butt plugs. You're not getting whips chains. You're getting a cheap little plastic toy and a $13 Big Mac. To me, marketing failure, but it happens. But by all means, don't shy away from McDonald's. Who doesn't love McDonald's? We have a lot of topics to keep going on and talking about. A lot of times when I do it solo, I like to kind of play some music, but we ran so perfect through with Caitlin's interview, actually a little bit over. So we'll keep on with the topics. The next one, of course, the big anticipated movie of this season is Halloween Ends. And according to Jamie Lee Curtis, this is absolutely, positively the end of the Laurie Strode character and Halloween. A lot of people saying, can you buy it? I don't know. We've been here a million times. This movie has ended a million times. Michael Myers has been killed a million times. And even the preview you see, like the commercials they're running, and she's like, come here, Michael, like with a knife. How many times have you stabbed this man, shot this man, thrown him out of a window, blew him up on fire, and he still comes back? Like, Jules says BS. Halloween never ends. 2020. I think we got a project here. We get a couple of horror actresses and horror movie creators. Caitlin was just on me. We'll talk to her about, hey, Caitlin, how about Halloween Never Ends 2023 starring Jamie Lee Curtis? And me and Jewel will be like TV reporters that report the return of serial killer Michael Myers. It's actually a great idea. But a lot of people are like, it's not going to end. It's never going to end. Although, I mean, no offense to Jamie Lee Curtis. She doesn't look like the young spring chicken anymore. But the movie keeps running, and I don't see it coming to an end. I really don't watch them. I'm not big on slasher movies, especially ones where Jason, Michael Myers, Freddy, they die 100 times. Somehow they come back to life. Even Jamie Lee Curtis's character dies at some point, but ends up getting back into the movie. So I know they're not realistic as it is, but yeah, they're not really my thing. So for the people anticipating, I know a lot of people at Halloween time love the horror movies. I know Jewel likes her horror movies, and a lot of people like them. So you'll have to fill me in on how that is. Jewel, I know we talked about earlier. I know you were late, but catch, if you haven't caught it yet, catch Luckiest Girl Alive with Mila Kunis. Me and the wife just watched it last night. It is a great movie. It's one that everybody's talking about, and it's really good. I just saw a note that was terrible, so disappointing about aliens. Which one was that? About aliens? I don't know. Anyway, check out. You started earlier. It is a really good movie, and I love her. My wife's like, oh, she's so pretty. Yeah, a little bit. Jordan Peele. I think we're talking about, what movie is that with Jordan Peele? We're talking about two totally different movies. Luckiest Girl Alive, as far as I know, is Mila Kunis. Catch up. When you're not sitting here, I can't rapid fire ask you questions, but that's okay. That's Halloween Ends. The big story, and again, this gets me mad. We're talking about the guy rushing on the field. We're talking about the guy that got roughed up by Devontae Adams last night. And, oh, Nope. Is that the name of it? Nope. I don't know. The story that comes out of this game that's making all the headlines outside of the Devontae Adams thing is Troy Aikman. Of course, as you know, this season, Troy Aikman, Joe Buck have taken on the Monday Night Football commentating in the booth. And I like them. I like Buck and Aikman. I know a lot of people are like, bleh. Troy Aikman is a good color analyst. Joe Buck is a good announcer. He's even better in baseball. I don't find him bad in football. But last night, and this is like 2 nights in a row, the NFL is getting kind of soft on this roughing the passer rule. It happened Sunday with Tom Brady, where a guy kind of rolled over Brady and they called a foul. and the whole NFL world was up in arms. And then it happened again last night where a defender goes to sack Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. Kind of rolls over him, and in the process of rolling over him, takes the ball away. It's like a fumble right in his hand. And they call it another roughing the passer. And the crowd is just, I mean, if you watch the game live, the crowd is ripping this officiating team. I mean, the boos, like the stadium is shaking from boos. So Aikman said, look, it's getting tiring. Like, this is just getting ridiculous. So he basically comes out and says, look, maybe the NFL Rules Committee will take the dresses off and start to call us a little more lenient and let the guys play the game. Well, he gets blasted for being extremely sexist. Take the dresses off. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, you're making us women? And I get it. As you know on the show here, we are equal in a lot of ways. Sexuality, race, preference. And so I'm not sitting here saying, get over it. But I don't know if I ever really find it that sexist. And people are like, well, you're a man. You shouldn't. I mean, if he said, hey, take off the tuxedos, okay. I guess he means being fancy. And I mean, take the dresses off. Okay, yeah, maybe he's pointing at you're making it a little too feminine. I understand it. I wouldn't really rip Aikman. I wouldn't try it. Some people want him fired on the spot. And I know when you're in live, as we are here, we're live. It's always hard to say the exact right same thing and always come out perfect. It's a passion. It's the game he played for years. He has suffered some major injuries. He's had multiple concussions. He's been banged up. And I guess when he looks and he's like, look, I played the game hard. Keep the game the way it has always been played. Like, don't ginger it. Don't coddle anybody. So taking the dresses off, well, it's seen as sexist, and I guess I can understand why. Maybe also seen as like, look, you're kind of prettying the game up a little bit. You're trying too hard to make it too delicate. And sports announcers all over said different things. Let the quarterback wear a flag and play flag football and just got to pull the quarterback's flag. Some people said a 3-second rule. Some people said two-hand touch the quarterback. So Aikman more or less was expressing frustration live. All these other guys had all day and all night to think about what they were going to say. It's tough live on the spot for a guy whose career is football, playing it and now commentating it. And I can guarantee you, I've never been in those shoes. But I can almost promise in my head that 99% of the time, none of these guys are out to offend anybody. They're just out to call a game. And Aikman was pretty disgusted by the call. I was disgusted by the call. The game has gotten soft. I understand they're protecting injuries and everything that comes up now with like Tua and the concussions, and he was actually falling off the field and they let him stay in the game. Yeah, you got to be very careful, but it's still a contact sport. You can't take the contact out of the sports part of the game. If you're going to coddle these guys like this, you're changing the whole game. There are men protecting the women in their sports and locker rooms, yet this is where thank you. And again, we're not trying to get anywhere, but yeah, you got women or men who want to pretend to be women to win medals and win awards in sports. The whistle's been blown on it, and them guys have been called out on it. So to say what Aikman said, all right, it's not the perfect thing, but don't take the man's job away. I don't think he set out that night and wrote down a script. I'm going to eventually say this and just rip people, make people feel uncomfortable. It's not really his job. He's doing a game. Meanwhile, like I said, when you have guys like Devontae Adams pushing cameramen around, and you got a guy running on the field with a pink smoke bomb that gets tackled by a player so security can get him, and they're allowed to file police charges, the biggest story should be Troy Aikman saying, take the dresses off. I'm sure he meant nothing by it. I told my wife about it, and she's like, okay, I don't get it. I'm like, does that offend you? She's like, no, it's a football game. It's So I guess it really depends. Nowadays, I know people are a little more sensitive, and of course, the articles read, the woke police or et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And again, I'm not out to say what you believe in is wrong or how you take things are wrong. For me, I'm a little surprised that he was attacked the way he was over what he said. It's just me. It happens. I don't know. But the rule committee should really kind of reassess it, take a little bit out. It's a little soft. It's a little weak. And some of them plays are a little weak. Like I said, the one last night where it was a fumble that led to Kansas City getting the ball back. Meh. Could have changed the game. As I said before, the Raiders gave the game anyway by not kicking the extra point. And I get sports is always just now going to analytics. And everything is analytics. And all night long you're hearing Aikman and Joe Buck saying, well, analytics say that this is the right play. No, you kick the extra point and tie the game. You don't automatically assume your opponent is going to run downfield and score. You tie the game there. They're down by a point. If they're scoring a touchdown, to go for 2 and they miss. Now you're down by a point again. You think the clock's not on your side there? How about trailing and wanting the clock on your side? I guess that was a little more also to the frustrations of Devontae Adams. Team called a horrible game and lost. NFL needs to grow some balls, men's balls. They do need to grow some balls. It's very ginger. And the other thing that was, and somebody brought it up to me, somebody had asked, every year you would see the guys wearing the pink and different pink objects for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And the crucial catch is the NFL's thing with the breast cancer awareness in October. This year, the coaches wear a sweatshirt on the sideline. Chase the Cure, I think it says, or something like that. And anyway, you get them on NFLshop.com for $90. 90. Way to stick up for the cause there. And then they have the hats that aren't pink anymore. They're like black hats with like a splash pattern in them. That's the breast cancer awareness hat. You can get it at NFLshop.com for $40. You know, I get it. I get the NFL logo. I get the prices that are involved. This is supposed to be raising awareness for breast cancer. Charging people $90 for a hoodie. $90 for a hoodie. You can see my good friend Steve Giordano, who make you a beautiful breast cancer awareness hoodie for $30. 30? Or should we go 40? I don't know. You call it a shot. Hit me up on the O Show and we'll discuss product and pricing. But $90, I don't know. For anymore, they seem to do things the wrong way a lot. I love football. We know that. I love sports. I love watching it. But some of the things and some of the decisions that are made, I tweak. We got 2 things we absolutely positively want to do. And one of those I definitely want to do right now. And it is the Mystery Grail. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mystery Grail time. I've reached out to the people of Mystery Grail. I expect my sponsorship coming soon. But anyway, what this is, Mystery Grail is a company who basically packs away securely a Funko Pop. And you pay X amount of dollars. You ship them to your house in sealed boxes. And every week you get a different Funko Pop. Now they range in value. It could be anywhere from a $5 Funko Pop to a couple $100 Funko Pop. And as you know, I collect these things. If you haven't noticed behind me, and I got more to show you afterwards. But tonight, again, 2 brand new sealed boxes. Now, unboxing these things is a big thing now. A lot of YouTube videos, a lot of people do it. So I figured, why not? Let's come on the show, order them, and let's see what we get. I got 2 tonight. I've held on to these for 2 weeks because I got here early. It's not easy. So let's do some Mystery Grail unveiling. We did have a banner. See if I still have that banner. This way people know they're tuning in or they're passing by. So what's he doing? Oh, yeah, well, he's unveiling. Yeah, of course I don't have it tonight. But anyway, Mystery Grail unveiling 2 brand new pieces. Let's see what we get. Do not try this in. You have to watch myself slice it through the camera. We slice it. We pull it. Box is open. Still haven't seen it. And, of course, I got my handy Funko Pop app here so I can see the value of it. Let's open the box here. Still can't see it. It is from The Simpsons. It is Emperor Monimus. Well, it's a Simpsons piece, at least. Emperor Monimus. Let's check it out. The key is to always win. You pay $14 for these things. The key is always get one worth more than the $14 you pay. This one comes out at $10. Emperor Montimus. It's going kind of cool. It's only worth $10. That sucked. The beauty of this is we have one more. I always spend the money to get the extra. One of these days, the wife's going to count up this stuff and probably throw me out of the house. That's okay. All right, so it's chance for redemption here. We're already $4 in the hole for the week. We're going to open up another one, see what we get here. Slice the box open. In case you're just tuning in, we're opening mystery grails. I have no idea what's in these. I've kept them sealed for a week. Let's pop the other side of the box. Like what you got? Share a pic on social media and use the hashtag mystery grail. Obviously, it's not good because I think it says right away you've gotten a grail. So this one is... Yikes. It's Alien from Toy Story 4. Yeah, really hit the jackpot this week. Holy gracious. Seems to get worse every week. First week I did really good. This baby is valued at a whopping $12. We got $22 for the Funko Pops. That cost us $28 plus shipping. So we spent about $30 for $22 for the Funko Pops. We're going to start giving these away soon on the program. A free Funko Pop for tuning into the O Show, for liking and subscribing on YouTube and Twitch and all them great places. So, Mr. Grill Night bombs tonight. Thank you, though, for tuning into it. My wife took my lollipops from last week's boxes. I can't get the lollipops out of them. It's supposed to be so much more exciting. I hashtag all of it, and I tagged Funko fans and Funko Pop, and I tag everybody to come watch me do this. And I come out with 2 horrible pieces. That's awesome. Let's argue. Why not? We're rolling along here. Let's argue. Did I do the top 5 list? No, I'm going to do top 5 list. Oh, yeah, I did top 5 list. Okay. Favorite Philly sports teams. Let's argue tonight is beer choice. Now, as you know, I'm kind of a beer snob. I love my beer. And I drink, the IPAs and the hazies and all these different great flavors. And this season it's pumpkin, and there's porters and stouts and doppelbocks and Oktoberfest and the whole 9 yards. But let's say all those didn't exist. And for the rest of your life, you had to drink one of these 5. These are the big 5, as I call them. Everybody's like, where's Yingling? Yingling doesn't count because Yingling's actually a drinkable beer. I enjoy Yingling. Back in the day when I was a youngster, it was always Miller Lite. So we got Miller Lite, we got Coors Light, we got Bud Light, we got Michelob Ultra for you fellas out there watching your figure, and we got Rolling Rock. Pretty much any girl that drinks beer, I'll let you know I'm watching your figure. Thank you. So these 5 are the choices. Let's see what everybody picked because people love to argue about it. It is Let's Argue. And at the bottom, 3 people picked Bud Light. I can't drink a Bud product. I don't care if it's Bud Seltzer. I don't care if it's Bud, whatever the heck it is. Bud Light's at the bottom. Some people say, I actually enjoy a Bud Light. Never heard of such a thing. I think the last time I drank a Bud Light was at the Winter Classic when people were just throwing random beers at me in the parking lot, and I was just drinking them. Bud Light, 3 votes. Next up, Coors Light. And again, Winter Classic. Yikes. A lot of people said, it's just piss-colored water. It's not piss-colored water. It's piss. It is a horrible beer, but 8 people voted for it on our list. But it's second, Coors Light. Third on the list is my old former standby back in a Miller Lite. I can tolerate a Miller Lite. My wife and I went on a cruise a couple years ago. The best beer they had all these. Miller Lite was probably the best. And I drank it when I was a young drinker, growing into my drinking age. So Miller Lite is a soft spot. It was my vote. Next up was Michelob Ultra. And okay, Michelob was probably the first beer I drank. Mich Ultra is a low-calorie choice. It's also very low on taste. To me, it tastes very much like water. It doesn't even taste like beer. I don't like it. A lot of females like it. That's fine. Get your low-calorie beer. Michelob Ultra was second to the top. And the number 1, obviously, if you're keeping score at him, is Rolling Rock. Yikes. 11 people picked Rolling Rock. A couple of people said, look, it's a local beer. It's gross. I don't care how local it is. It's disgusting. And if I had to pick these, Rolling Rock would be dead last. I would not drink beer anymore. I would sober up. I would never drink alcohol or beer again if Rolling Rock was my only choice on earth. I said it. You can send me hate mail. You can comment here and tell me I'm wrong. Rolling Rock sucks. Thank you. So our let's argue segment this week, you're all wrong. All of you. Wrong. That's right. Matter of fact, I have my Yingling right here. I'm not drinking it tonight, but it does have the beautiful Philadelphia Phillies logo. As you remember, Phillies, big win today. Phillies come back tomorrow night with Zach Wheeler. Try to go up 2-0 on the Atlanta Braves. Big win today. Win that almost thought got away. Not crazy about Zach Eflin as our closer. Didn't think he'd be able to get the job done, but the bullpen was actually big. Nick Castellanos with a huge catch. He had a big day to plate. Bryce Harper had a good day to plate. Phillies played the game right. Some small ball, some clutch hits, moving runners, stuff like that. So a terrific game today by the Phillies, and we will take that victory. I came across this, and I don't really put a graphic together, but I found this picture. It's from the Dr. Phil show, and it's canceled words or phrases. I don't know. If you're out there tonight, comment. If you watch the replay, maybe send me a message on some of these canceled words or phrases like first world problems, powwow or tribe. I guess that's considered Indian. Master bedroom. I guess it's a slave thing. Master bedroom. Blindsided, blind spot, blind leading the blind. Okay. Grandfathered in. Lame. I don't get lame. If anybody knows why lame is a canceled word, chime in. Spook. Tone deaf. Peanut gallery. Now it gets really confusing. Brainstorm. Why is brainstorm a canceled word? Mom and dad. Jip or jip. Ghetto. Low man on the totem pole. I get some of them. Some of them are, I guess, kind of racially charged. Some of them I don't get mom and dad. Well, that's grandfathered in. I don't understand that. Brainstorm. I don't get. I don't know. Some of them just really got me. I'm confused by some of these. But I wanted to share them tonight. And I'll probably share them tomorrow night too during 2.0 with Allie and see if she can figure some of those out. There's a lot of stuff that's canceled or not supposed to say, etc. And we've had people come on the show and say cringeworthy words. I actually had a list one time of words that people consider cringeworthy and how bad are they, etc. But I can't say like a canceled word. I say brainstorming a lot. I brainstorm a lot. You're going to cancel me for saying it? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why it is, and I wish I would know. Like ghetto, I guess I can get. Low man on the totem pole, okay. Powwow tribe, okay. Peanut gallery, why? What exactly is lame? I don't know what lame is. Why lame is a... I don't know. The mom and dad one's got me. I don't get that. My mom and my dad will always be my mom and my dad. So if you got to cancel the Yo show for saying mom and dad, we'll keep saying it. Mom and dad. Yeah, I found that graphic there. I want to share because I'll be damn, I'm so confused at what makes that such an issue. Anyway, let's go back to earlier. We're talking about non-players on the field, the football field. Now, the football field, this is their place of business. This is where these guys go to work. And we're talking about players interacting with non-players who are on the field. The camera guy, he's got a little bit of a right. Devontae Adams, a little excessive violence, kind of push him out of the way. And he says he's in the hospital and sustained injuries. Okay, I kind of get it. To file a police report about that, I really don't get it. I'm confused by that. Because, honestly, to me, press pass or not, you're in the way. You're in the way. It's not like he, went near him and tried to hold it. He's right in his face with this microphone. I don't know about you, but he just worked a 3-hour shift, if you will, of hard hitting and tough plays, etc. So maybe he's tired at the end of the day and just wants to go home and call it a night. And he's got this guy in his face with this microphone. And you know me, I'm never really wanted to feel bad for athletes because you're getting paid a lot of money to do what you do. But still, like, people out there working around the field, back off a little bit. Maybe this is at the case where stop having anybody on the field. Just let the players only on the field. If you're not involved in the game, if you're not coaching it, or a medical staff or something, or you're not a player, off the field altogether. Nowhere near the field. The guy that's streaking is mind-numbing. The guy that's streaking is actually going to press a charge for illegally invading the stadium and the field of play. What exactly do you expect to happen? Do you think they're just going to keep you letting you run around? The TV turns the cameras off of you. They make sure nobody watches you. So you're killing TV time. The game stops. The game is a product. It is something people paid money for. The players feel endangered. They don't know. Like I said, it's a pink smoke bomb. So Wagner takes it upon himself to find the right time, get in the shot, knock the guy down so security gets him. If this guy manages to pull off this filing of charges and lawsuit of some strange nature, I have to give up on life. I have to. Because this is the absolute epitome of insanity. Remember in baseball games, you used to have the kissing bandit. It was a blonde with gigantic boobs, and she would run on the field and usually run to a player and give him a kiss. And the securities come charging and take her off, etc. You knew what she was there for. She had done this act before. It basically is a kiss. Now, again, you don't know how harmless it is, but that's all it was. Now imagine her pressing charges. Oh, I went to give a player a kiss and security carried me off. It's getting ridiculous where it's almost like we're enabling people to break a law, and we're going to find these people as, oh, poor innocent guy got knocked down by a football player. I tell you what, you don't want to get knocked down by a football player. Don't run on the football field, especially during a game. Like the girl that would glue her hands to the court, I think it was in Dallas, during the basketball playoffs, was gluing her hands to the floor. And the one time the security was watching her and they knew her, she ran, they tackled her, and she tried to say they were violently attacking her. No, don't run on the field. If I'm working, doing my job at a car dealership, and somebody runs behind the desk and hits me, what are you doing, dude? You can't do that. It's a place of business. We're doing work. If somebody were to come into my house right now, run down the steps, and smack me in the head during this broadcast, no. It doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to work that way. You're never supposed to walk onto a playing field, ever. It's like going to a Broadway play and running up on stage. No, you don't do it. There are performers, paid people to be doing this. You don't run, especially with a pink smoke coming out of you. I can't for the life of me see where the law thinks, yeah, let's get involved because somebody does something this, I'll say it, this unintelligent. It lacks intelligence in every way, shape, or form to run onto a field. And kudos to Bobby Wagner. Probably the best tackle he's had in weeks as the Rams are suffering. I managed to get that out, but I've been really planning it. But do better. Do better. Everybody says the society's falling apart. We're this, we're that. You do better. dude running on the field get tackled by Bobby Wagner, do better. No need for you to charge a field. You want to protest? Go get a sign. Stand outside all day. You could file with the state and they'll let you march X amount of hours a day. Go do it. You know you're not allowed to run on the field. You know you're not supposed to run on the field. You go out and get on the field and then you get hit and then you want to complain and file charges. You don't belong in the field. Walk into the bank with a weapon and have a security guard jump you and then say, in the bank, all I wanted to do was rob the bank. You don't belong there. Period. I spit. Period. I usually don't get that hyper. Tell me I'm a little hyper. That got the worst of me. I find it very unintelligent. Thank you. Not bad for a live show, huh? They haven't said that. Any of those canceled words. My God, I guess. Let's take a look and see at some names, places, and people that are coming up on the Yo Show in the next few weeks. We got some great guests coming up, and should have Jewel Tatey back with us next week, where we welcome an incredible local singer and songwriter. Went out to Nashville, made an album, came back doing a lot of local gigs. Miss Meg Russell will be with us October 18th. Very excited for that. October 25th is our annual Halloween show, the Halloween, where me and Jewel get dressed up, and we have an awesome guest who was with us last year, put on a great costume as Tiffany from the Chucky movies. This year, we can't wait to see what she has in store for us. Horror actress Lydia Manson on October 25th. Should be great. Tuesday, November 1st, an excellent singer, Miss Bella Kelly, will be our very special guest. November 8th, a cool dude I met out in Nashville, great singer. He's got both a cover band and his own band of originals. He's going to come out and talk a little bit about both, and it's Mr. Timothy Dial. Very much looking forward to that. The last one, I think I got the date wrong. I don't think it's November 16th. I think it's actually November. It is November 15th. Correction. A guy I'm super stoked to talk to. The Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll podcast, and just a great radio talent and podcast personality. He gets some of the best guests on his program, and he's the guy that coined the phrase, if you can't watch yourself, it makes you think other people are going to watch you. And one of them, Mr. Ralph Sutton, who has one of the top programs in the world through some of the rankings, so we can't wait for that. Thank you for the XXXZ, whatever that means. Mr. Muhammad Bucks, I don't know what that means, but thank you. So, yeah, we're going to have Ralph Sutton on the program on the 15th. Well, typo error. We're very excited for that as well. We do have some Yo 2.0 coming up for you as well. We have one tomorrow night. And the 12th, we welcome a young lady by the name of Nikenji. That's N apostrophe Kenji. And she's actually bringing a Donna Summer tribute show to the area. So we're very excited about that. So apparently I'm getting cursed out in some kind of language here. So we'll go here and then we will block that user. Thank you very much. Did we get it? We did it. So thank you for your wonderful comments. We're blocking you from the comment section because quite frankly, I don't know what you're saying. And not cool. But anyway, so that is tomorrow night. Nikenji on Yo 2.0. with myself and Miss Ali Commissaro. October 26th, of course, Yo 2.0 welcomes the awesome Lexi Swarm from the Metal Honey podcast. Of course, a good friend of our friends from Sepsis. She'll be on the program. We look forward to that as well. So a lot of great programs coming on Yo Show, Yo 2.0. We got the new logo going up. My friend Steve, I'm going to text you later. Thank you for that. Your logo has won the viewers' vote. It wasn't easy. It was a close one. But this right here, we're going to show it one more time. The bell top with the microphone playing the role of the bell. Very cool. That is going to be the new logo of the Yo Show. The lightning bolt, of course, representing the crack. The other logo that's also great from our good friend Brian Snow, we'll probably use for Yo 2.0 and just keep some things lively and keep them active. Because we have great people that look out for us and help us out. And we really do appreciate it here. It keeps us running on the programs, and we get a couple thousand views over the last couple weeks on our YouTube channel, and that's great. Really does help us along. We greatly appreciate it. And we're going to keep coming up with more things, more great guests to see coming up. Huge thanks to Caitlyn Patricia Weiler, who was our very special guest tonight. Don't forget the brand new movie is The Beach. IMDb, which is the movie authority website. Caitlyn Patricia Weiler. www.CaitlinPatriciaWeiler.com is the website. Instagram at KitKate. Facebook at Caitlyn Patricia Weiler. Check out the brand new movie, The Beach, right now, and check out her upcoming projects. She's a wonderful actress, very talented writer, and a super all-around person, and has so much going on for great charity work as well. We thank her for finally joining us. We had this planned for a few different times. We finally got her here tonight, and she was worth the wait. She was outstanding. So thank you to Caitlyn for joining us. Big thanks to Jewel Tatey, who, even though he couldn't make it tonight, still managed to chime in, get your work done. Big thanks to my good friend Steve Giordano for tuning in. A couple of thumbs up and likes from the people out there. Eden James, great artist, great musician who's on our show, where we're going to work into getting him back on with a thumbs up. Thank you, Steve Giordano, as well, for the thumbs up. We thank you. It means a lot for the people that watch us. I send a link out to people. I like people to get involved. But another thing I want to throw in here real quickly. And again, if you watch the show live, you're watching recording, we are on Facebook known as the Stoop Radio Network. And us as a network is trying to bring out more shows. So if you're an amateur and you think you got a little something to say, whether it be whatever, and you think you can put a program together, and you always think, hey, I'd like to start a podcast, now's a chance to do it. The Stoop Radio Network wants to hear from you, and we want to hear your idea. And we can put it on the Stoop Radio Network page, and I can help you produce it, and we can get it together and get you great ideas. I already have a few people I reached out to with stunning ideas, some people I think would be great. One of my good friends, Mr. Pat Tyler, came up with one that I love. I do love the idea, Pat. Might find a way to change the name, but it's funny. It's definitely something that can work. And whether it's funny or informative or just something you're passionate about or know about and you want to present it, let's talk, man. Always out to get more great content out there. A lot of people like listening to podcasts, and they say, I like listening to this because of this and that because of that. And I listen to some myself, and it's a great platform to go out and speak a piece. Be respectful. There are words you can't say, like grandfather clause. Was that? I don't know. Or grandfather. I don't even know. I remember what the hell it was. So yes, let's get at it. I want to play some music, but we had such a perfect night in assessing our time, and everything went really well. So we're going to leave about 6 minutes early with the music of St. Ricketts, of course, at www.stricketts.com. And their hit With Fire Cannot Burn. Let's stretch it up here. Again, thank you to Caitlyn Patricia Weiler. Thank you for everybody tuning in. The Yo Show returns to you next Tuesday, live, 8 p.m. Yo 2.0 tomorrow night with singer Nikenji and very special guest co-host Ali Commissaro. Ali's wonderful. She'll probably have another great Halloween costume for us because it is the 31 days. And if you see her on Facebook, she does a great new mask every day that she actually does with makeup. Intense. So maybe she'll have something cool for us tomorrow night. Jeff the Shark Perini, thank you all for tuning in. Let's get St. Ricketts in here and let's get me the hell out of here. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you. Hit it. Whoop. Make sure the volume's up. Always. And go.
Was it truly pleasant? The taste of it poison deeper than you know. Wanted to embrace what it takes for it, pouring salt into the world, willing to erase what I'd lose for it, to accept what I assume. So I'm pulling the anchor and drifting away, blinded by reason beyond disarray. It's what fire cannot burn. It's what fire cannot. Searching for something, destined for nothing, losing composure over and over. Truly blessed if the taste of it poison deeper than you know. Kindly answer this, was the point of it just to reach new heights of love? So I'm pulling the anchor and drifting away.